Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Liverpool show, ladies and gentlemen. Your favorite show every Friday. You get me? Big up to every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're to do so. Big up to everyone locked in. We're going to have an absolutely unbelievable elite stream today. Big up to all of you guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Joining me first and foremost, he'll try his best to get us cancelled today. He tried it earlier on with Tom. Man, like Jamie's in the building. Hi, Jamie.
Why did I know that was me straight away?
Oh, it's a good thing. You have a good
reputation. I have a reputation of being a bastard. That's what it is. Big up, man. Big up.
Big up to you. Speaking of bastards, Kelleher's biggest fan is here. Man, like Kmack in the building.
Wow. Wow.
How do you know I haven't got a dad?
See, Kmack embraced it. See, that's the difference between you and Jamie. See, Kmack embraced the
I'm
intro.
a real bastard.
Let's go. Let's go. Big up, Kmack. I appreciate you. Joining us next on the channel, you get me. LA Grit. He left New York. All of a sudden, the Knicks are successful now. He might be the biggest curse in basketball history. Man, like Mike is in the building. Hi, Mike.
5-0 on the road. Hold that. And just remember, I got to remind people every time I come on now. Calculators are never wrong. It's the person who's inputting that's always wrong. The calculator is always right.
That's crazy.
The calculator is always right. No, I don't need to do that. Clutchest player in the league right now, 2-0. 5-0 on the road. We've only lost at MSG. We'll see if we can go up 3-0 tomorrow.
Let's go. Joining us next, you get me. Here to discuss, he has to be the villain today for the Trent news. So we brought him on, innit? Man, like Jerry in the building. Hi, Jerry.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm good.
Different layout today.
Yeah, man. Do what it is. I'm in the living room today, man. I got the house to myself, so I was like, you know what? Let me sit in the living room. Let me be a bit more comfortable, you know, like that. But yeah, happy to be on. And yeah, let's get into it, man.
Fairs. And last but not least, the man from Canada is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We have to have a sprinkle of poutine and maple syrup every stream, and that's that sprinkle. Man, like Emeka's in the building. I do Emek.
Big up, everyone. Big up. Let's get into it.
Now you know how Vader feels when you're in the comments, you know, because Vader gets this all the time. You're lucky Jacob ain't here. He'd start calling you a moose herder and stuff. So, yeah. Hey,
Any of you guys been to Canada or no? No.
Yeah, loads.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Cheesy chips, my favorite.
Cheesy chips.
There's a guy, Caster, big up Caster in the chat. He keep inviting me to like snow activities, and I'm just like, I don't think you realize like who I am. Like, I'm not interested in the snow shit at all. Like, I'm just good. I'm completely good. Like, it's way too freezing.
Snows here now, to be fair. It doesn't really snow in Toronto anymore.
Which city are you in? Oh, Toronto.
You can go skiing in the desert on the sand dunes.
I don't have sand over here, actually. It's all green. You tried it. Anyway, big up to all of you guys locked in. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're ready to do so. Everyone, please hit the like button, subscribe. Go subscribe to all these guys' channels. It's all going to be in the description. So, ladies and gentlemen, since we last met, Trent to Real Madrid has been announced. I'm going to start off with you, Jerry. Tell me your thoughts on the Trent to Madrid thing.
Good luck to him. That's about it. Liverpool, yeah, kind of messed up on that one, if we're being honest. Fully to blame. Don't begrudge the person for leaving. Is where it is. Liverpool will be fine. I'm not too stressed about it.
Liverpool's fully to blame. You have full blame on FSG for Trent leaving.
Yeah, always, because you allowed it to get to a point where the power's in the player's hand. Ultimately, that's what it was. If Liverpool could have acted much way earlier,
well, like 2 years.
Let me ask you something.
It could have been whenever. No, but it could have been whenever, and then they could have gave it the ultimatum: you sign or we sell you.
Okay,
right?
But Jerry,
that's what it should have been, and ultimately they didn't do that. And now you're in the situation that you're in. It doesn't matter whether you offered the person whatever at the end of it. You didn't want to stay at that point.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
The guy was more flaky than a Kit Kat. More flaky than a Kit Kat.
Kmack, so let's just draw this picture. 2 years ago, the club hears that someone from Real Madrid approached Trent, right? They ask him, Trent says, whatever. Let's just say no definitive answer. We don't know. The club decides 2 years ago to say, okay, I have the feeling that you're going to leave, so I'm going to put you up for sale. Someone comes in for a bid. Trent rejects that, right? Because he knows that the only place he wants to go is Real Madrid, and the only place he can go there, the only way that he can go there is if it's for free, because that's what Florentino Perez says, right? So it's 2 years ago. You know, he says whatever he has to say to be like, hey, listen, no, but like, you know, I want to keep focusing on the season. Then we get to 12 months ago, and we just replay that same story. Do you expect Liverpool to either A, put him for sale, and if he says no, exile him like Chelsea did Conor Gallagher? Because I don't think that we're that kind of club to do that to a player who's been in the youth system. Or B, do you acknowledge the idea? I mean, it's speculation and conjecture because we don't know what they said, but do you acknowledge the idea that Trent could have feasibly played along so that the club thought that they had a chance to sign him, when in reality he knows that the only way he can go to Madrid is if this contract runs down to zero? Like,
I think you're giving that this too many legs. I just think it's as simple as, if you put it out there, if he doesn't want to go and sign, you make it clear. And the clubs have done that throughout history. You make it clear, we've offered this person X contract, they have declined it. And what you do, the player has to go and face the repercussions as you would in any other situation. It's as simple as that. If the club, and again, if the model is, this is the way we operate, we are operating like this, and we are not backing down to your demands or whatever it is, or allowing you to play your game, that's how you go and play it. Instead of, do you know what I mean, like hoping that the player signs and then ending up in a situation where, do you know what I mean, we are where we are right now. If, again, he says he doesn't want to sign, or the club have this inkling, as you spoke about, I've seen clubs do it, and I've been in environments where it's happened at lower league. Is it? Okay, cool. You bring someone in to compete with that individual straight away, and you make a statement signing. For instance, if Liverpool were to go and sign Hakimi back when Trent 2 years ago, right, and you make a statement like that, guess what that does? Oh, what's going on with Trent then? He didn't want to sign the contract. You put pressure on him, and ultimately, as a player's value, you need to go and play. You're not going to want to go and stay. So Real Madrid might not want you, but you might have to go somewhere else at that point. And that's how club, in my opinion.
Can I just rewind the timeline? A bit? Because this is all common knowledge now. It's all been talked about by many media outlets. Like, when we went, I'm not blaming the new people, by the way. They've got no blame at all in any of this, by the way. When we went to get a new director of football, we actually briefed him 3 months before he came in about the situation that he was going to arrive with, with Trent, Virgil, and Mo, which the last iteration left, that was their fault. That's not his fault. That was their fault. Okay, he made a phone call to Trent straight away. Like, this was while he was at Bournemouth. This is being talked about in the Liverpool Echo loads, by the way. So he made a phone call to Trent, and Trent said that he would negotiate. So then he had 3 months of the mindset of, hang on, I might be able to get Trent to sign a new contract here. And FSG said to him, do what you can to get these 3 guys done. Then when Edwards came and Hughes was with Edwards, their mission was to get those 3 players done as soon as possible. However, the whole FSG model was around not giving old players new contracts. So then they had to look at the situation with whether they were going to be worth keeping. And they obviously were, because they proved it. So then they got new contracts. The whole situation with Trent was he just played us all the while. He played us along all the while. Like, maybe I do, maybe I don't, maybe I do this, maybe I go in the media, maybe I say these comments, maybe I do this celebration. He literally strung us along. Him, his agent, whoever, the whole thing was just strung along. And when Real Madrid made the offer, what was the point in selling him? There's no point selling him for 10 million quid. Like, you might as well keep him. and try and negotiate a contract. And we threw the king's ransom at him. Like, reports are now coming out that he was offered nearly 400 grand. Like, so it's not about the money. It was never about the money. But what I will say, and this is the thing that makes me think rat, and agree with the snake stuff and the lizard stuff that you've put up, is he announced his contract on social media on bank holiday just after Liverpool have done the whole week of celebrating, yeah, and we got beat by Chelsea, okay? So we announced it on bank holiday, yeah? So he pissed all the fans off with that. And the whole situation and all of the conversation in that comment and that little, oh, it's all about, you know, where my heart is and this is really hard for me and all this stuff. A day later, Real Madrid then request for Trent to be released early. I'm sorry, guys. The whole thing was scripted. Like, he had to announce it early because Real Madrid have said to him, Trent, you're going to have to announce it early, mate, because we're going to have to put a request in for you to come to the Club World Cup. And he's been told to do it.
I'm not going to lie.
It's just bollocks. It's bollocks from day one.
I mean,
and he's a rat and he can bugger off. Done with him.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I couldn't care less.
Yeah,
honestly, no, I couldn't care less when it's announced, how it's announced, what it's announced. There'd always be problems. There'll always be problems. I was annoyed when Klopp came out middle of the season, said he was leaving. I thought it would throw the team off, and ultimately we didn't win anything, right? Major. The same thing could have been said for Jurgen Klopp. There was never a right time, right way to go and do it or whatever. I don't care about that. What I'm saying is, and it's solely from the point of the club, which it goes down to it, because of course the player wanted to leave. The player said he wants to leave for whatever reason it is, right? He could have said, I want to leave because I don't like it, whatever. It doesn't matter. The club were in a position where they had an asset. If they wanted to go and protect the asset, right, or sell it before it depreciates, as does any asset, you go and deal with it then and there. You don't wait until, the final hour to go and sort it out. And it doesn't matter. There's loads of factors that contributed to it. Hughes wasn't here. There was flipping George Kmack was, director of this, and he was Jurgen Klopp, and Jurgen Klopp was acting up, and then he left. It doesn't matter why. Ultimately, it's been gross misconduct to have three of your top five best players running out their contracts all at the same time and not dealing with the situation. Because if you deal with the situation and the player doesn't want to stay, you get to sell. If you don't want to sell, his stock will replenish. He's going to want to go anyway. It's happened in football. I've never heard of this like, oh, but we want you to stay, but all right, would you try it? Like, clubs don't. I don't know.
You just said. Sorry, it's Jerry, right? Jerry.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah. So you just said that it's happened in football, right? So. Yeah. What precedent, besides, let's say, McManaman that left on a free from us, what other boyhood player do you know of that left their club on a free?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't go, and I couldn't. Whether he leaves on a free,
there's no precedent.
But the difference is, you can talk about McManaman, but the difference is about leaving on a free is that other clubs operate in a different circuit. So in that situation, they wouldn't have left it till 2-3 seasons. United back in the day, Beckham was leaving, when this player was leaving, they wouldn't allow their assets, right, to have 2 years left on their thing.
Okay. My point. Hold on. My point is just that, because again, I just want to reference that point of this happens all the time. There's precedence for it. There really isn't. We actually have more.
What do you mean that it happens all the time? What do you mean by that?
You made a comment that this happens all the time in football with players
Yeah, I'm saying with clubs, with the way clubs operate. I've been in situations where, like I just referred to. Oh, you don't want to. You're saying you might got to join that team, and you're gonna. Okay, cool. They bring in a player mid-season, whether that's they won't sign him. They'll just sign. They won't transfer, but they'll just go and buy a free signing and just get him on. And okay, cool. And you want to play, you want to progress, and you want to do this. You're either forced to, heal, or you're forced to, or you're going to jump ship. And I'm saying that's how a club would operate. To leave the contract to go to 2 years, that's for me. That's gross misconduct, and it's got to start there. It doesn't matter.
I agree with that. I agree with the blame on the club. I do think the sad part for me is how much the club appeared to have protected Trent through this. I don't think he deserved any protection.
But protection from what? This idea that there's protection, it just needs to be straight up. There wasn't protection because ultimately the club were in the weaker position. Because I'm telling you now, if the club were in a stronger position with the fans, with how the situations were with Jurgen Klopp, because you have a new manager, that creates a lot of uncertainty. A club can go and say, X player is saying they want to go and leave, drop the statement like that, and then because you know the club's on side. The problem is with Liverpool, it isn't like that.
But we don't know that he said that.
There's not a graceful kind of appreciation of the ownership anyway, right? You've got a new manager, right, that's coming in, and you're not sure what's going on. Albeit we've done really, really well this season.
That's under
Salah and Virgil van Dijk leaving.
That's why we don't know that he said that.
I think it's a protecting thing.
We have no idea what Trent said to the club.
To the ownership. We don't know that he said, I want to go from whenever Richard Hughes contacted him, right? We had 3 players that were onto their last year, which again isn't ideal. I think there are mitigating circumstances as to why that happened. But of course, that's not something we should replicate going into the future. But again, we had 3 players that were all down to their last year that obviously we were negotiating with. 2 of them ended up signing, 1 of them didn't. I'm sure, are you saying that Trent told them from the summer, I want to go? Because
the club only found out.
We have no indication.
The club only found out in April that he was going.
That's my point.
That was announced. Like the club only found out a month ago he was leaving. Like,
I understand what he said. Like, okay, I understand what Jerry is saying. Like, the club was naive in thinking that they could allow this to go for so long and that they could get the job done. We probably should have sat down 12 months ago and put the urgency then and said, okay, it's last summer. You have one year on your deal. Like, this is the final conversation. It's either you're signing something or I'm buying a right back and I'm putting you on sale in January. That I will agree with. We shouldn't have been so naive. But the issue is that we don't know what was said. And the thing that's really telling to me is that right after we won against Spurs, there was an interview with Cody Gakpo. And he said it was amazing to get Virgil and Salah back on contracts. And hopefully we can get Trent on too. That tells me that the players in the locker room had no idea that there was a concrete.
Mike, I'm going to be.
I wouldn't read into that.
I fully understand what you're
I'm
saying.
not. This isn't. I'm not going like 10. This very surface level.
No,
right?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think in situations like that where someone's talking about someone's thing, you're always going to talk about hopefully they'll go and sign. The players would have known themselves. Like, you've been in that situation. I don't think anyone sitting here, right, anyone on this panel thought in that situation, yeah, like Trent's gonna stay, he's 100%.
You know when the players found out.
I thought he was leaving. Kmack thought he was leaving.
So did I.
You know when the players found out. This is when I think the players found out. Is when Mo Salah posted that video of them all sat in the house.
Yeah,
I think that's when the players found out. I think that's Mo Salah basically.
Maybe so.
Doing his cryptic stuff.
We don't know. What I'm trying to say is
I think that's when he told them all, I'm leaving. I'm going to Real Madrid, lads.
Right? He would be discussing, like, especially if he's got close people in the club, whoever his close things, he will be discussing this situation. It won't be like do you know what I mean? Yeah, he might not be talking to everyone, but there'll be certain people he confides in, yeah, as it would obviously in any situation.
So for me, sorry, Jerry, I just think because I think the argument about who's to blame is we've had it a lot. And again, some people are going to say Trent, some people are going to say the ownership. I just think, I'm sure all of us on this panel were fans of Trent, and obviously we're all fans of Liverpool Football Club. And I think it's one thing to say that the club was naive in their handling of the situation, but as well, I think it's normal as fans and even as the ownership to expect a certain amount of respect in your handling of you're literally a boyhood player. You're a boyhood player.
But this is my point. People talk about
my point. Let me just say my point. My point is that I started by saying there is no real precedence for a homegrown player leaving their club on the free. There's actually more precedence of players signing contracts just so they can get a fee for their boyhood clubs, right?
And just to address that, that's my point. That's football in general. That's not players leave because if again at higher elite football, you do not let your players go and run on a free, and that doesn't matter whether they're, do you know what I mean, flipping Virgil van Dijk or Billy the Kid, Billy Kmack. It doesn't matter.
I just think we got played though. Like
But if a player is
the way I look at it,
I
that's
think
just the
what
way I
you're
see it.
not factoring in is like the player has a part. Like I just feel like there's a camp in our fan base that's completely absolving Trent's.
No, but I don't think. No, but that's my point. Maybe I'm not expressing it correctly. It's not about blame. There's nothing to blame. The player has gone and done what he thinks he wants to do for himself, right? When I'm talking from a Liverpool perspective, Liverpool always has to protect itself, not go and protect players, not go and protect.
We're not talking about Liverpool.
Right?
We're talking about
It's in the interest of the club, right? So what I'm saying is, there cannot be a blame. What are you blaming? Are you blaming? Because what I'm hearing is that people are blaming because he's left and he's a rat because he left and he should have stayed, because ultimately people just want him to be they had this idea of him being the next Steven Gerrard, staying loyal, all these kind of sentiments.
Well, he could have. He could have made that choice. Like
No,
he did
exactly.
say, it means more. Like he wants to be a captain. Like he did say all those things.
No, but what I'm saying is,
he didn't mean them.
No, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he meant. It doesn't matter what he says.
He lied to the fans, though, Jerry.
Listen, we've heard players say and then they leave. It happens. I don't know why people keep falling for this, right? The difference is that he's a local lad, and I understand.
Because he's one of our own, mate. He's one of our own.
That's
why. If he wasn't one of our own, we wouldn't give a shit.
But this is my point. It's your issue. You're saying he's one of our own. He's not thinking like you. But
he should, because he came from the youth team. They made him who he is.
Thinking like you, but this is my point.
Well, he should.
But why? Hold on, Kmack. Hold on. Why should he think like you?
No, he should.
No, but Jerry, I think you're missing.
He should think like a fan because he's a fan.
Yeah, but he shouldn't. No. He's a fan.
But some of the stuff that's come out has said that Real Madrid's like a boyhood club to him, like a dream.
When you go and play, when you start to go and play football, and you go and play for your boyhood club, right? He's looking at the club from a completely different perspective. You're looking at the football. When I think of football and Liverpool, I'm thinking of doing streams with you guys, right? Going to the game, right? Going picking up this, my experiences, my dad, all that type of stuff, right? His experiences are dealing with whoever X, Y, and Z inside the actual club. It becomes a workplace. It's not the same. You cannot go and expect him. He has to go and think like us. That's fine. You're entitled to be annoyed that he doesn't, which is cool. This is my point. What I'm saying is there's no fault in this. I'm looking at the club because the club have to protect its asset. There's no responsibility on Trent to protect his Liverpool Football Club over his career. I don't think that should ever be the case.
But there's a reason fans are speaking this way, Jerry. Again, I'm going to reiterate. It's like you can say that everything you're saying is accurate. It's his job, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a reason why there is really no precedence for this happening in football. The Boseman rule has been around since the 90s, and we can literally name one or two players that are boyhood players and have left their club on a free. So naturally, it makes sense that fans, even potentially ownership, would expect a player that's a boyhood player. Yes, this is your job, et cetera, but you're going to treat your boyhood club with a certain level of respect when you're making a decision about your career. I don't think anyone has an issue. Some people do have an issue with him leaving. I have zero issue with him leaving. If you want to go try something different, I can understand the perspective of being 23, 24 years old and you've literally won everything here.
All right, so
I completely understand that.
Just to get an understanding, if Trent was sold in the summer for 80 million, would you be happy? Would you be like, yeah, that's fine?
Yeah, I would have. If he said,
but that's my point. That's my point. Me personally, and I think a lot of fans personally,
I wouldn't be
one of our assets.
No, but I'm saying,
I wouldn't be happy, but I would be happier. I wouldn't be happy, but I would be happier.
If he doesn't want to play for Liverpool and then gets 80 million,
guys, can I use the biggest example of us getting money?
We need to sell him. Like
when we sold Coutinho for 140 million, he was still called the snake, and we got 140 million.
Was a snake as well.
Fernando Torres went to Chelsea for 50 million. He's still a snake. Sterling went to Manchester City for 50 million. He still is a snake. I don't think the price tag applies in a conversation like this. For me, it's the club that you go to. And listen, for me, I don't dictate to fans how they feel. If you want to feel angry, like feel angry. Me, I'm upset. I said it. I've been saying it for the last 4 days. Like I'm just upset. I'm sad because a player of that quality is leaving my football club. It's not a matter of like, oh, we're getting money or not getting money. Because guess what? Michael Owen was not even a direct transfer from Liverpool. He went to Man United and he was dead to us the moment he wore that shirt. Fernando Torres went to Chelsea mid-season for 50 million pounds. 50 million pounds at the time is the equivalent of like 110, 120 million now. And we still all thought he was a snake. And we all booed him when we first faced Chelsea with Fernando Torres. Same thing with Raheem Sterling. How much money do you get for Sterling? 50 to 60 million?
50 million.
Same thing. Yeah, and we still called him a snake because he went to Man City. Coutinho got us 140 million, but he faked an injury and he decided to mid-season leave us when we were on the rise. So I was upset regardless. I didn't go like, oh, yay, we got 140 million. That's not the case. I'm really upset and I'm really sad that we're losing the best right back on the planet. And that's what's bothering me. That's the most annoying thing. The fact that someone who is a playmaker from deep, someone who can dictate tempo, someone who can invert in midfield, someone who's such an elite passer is leaving Liverpool Football Club. And that's why I'm sad. I'm upset.
But
I'm gutted.
There's one more thing as well. Sorry, there's just one more thing. And I don't understand the whole, well, he's not going to a rival. He's going to a European rival.
Exactly.
Like I hate Real Madrid with a passion, and we all should, because they've done us bad so many times. And he's going to that club, and that's what really jars me.
That's all subjective on how you view Real Madrid from a Liverpool fan. But no one is.
I don't think they're a rival, but to each
no one with a logical brain is saying that they would be happy if he was leaving for money. The difference is that I would be happier than if he was leaving for free. Clearly, you don't want him to leave. But if he leaves, at least I'm getting something. That would be the disdain that someone has who's saying that it's going for free. It's not that I would be happy. It's that I'm losing this asset for nothing. Now, at the same time, it didn't cost me anything to bring him, right? So it's a zero-sum game. But the issue is that it's a zero-sum game because generally you want to get an ROI on projects that you have built throughout your club. Exactly. But my big thing, again, the problem with my perspective is that it's conjecture. Like the way I view it is logically and cold. Like if I were a businessman, how would I do this? And to me, the only place on the planet that Trent wanted to go was Real Madrid, right? And to me, when I see what Florentino Perez says, you have to come on our terms, and I see what their status quo has been over the last few seasons, run players down on contracts, get them for free, give them a big signing bonus. I mean, he's essentially getting 2 years salary up front. Even if it's 20 million, I think his salary is like 7 million a year. So he's almost getting 3 years salary up front without touching the field. The only way that Trent could have gotten there was for free, and the only way he could get there for free was if Liverpool allowed him to get to this point. So yes, I do blame Liverpool in a sense for being naive, but everything is a two-sided coin in life. I have to also look at Trent and say, okay, how did we get this dumb? How could we have possibly made this stupid of a mistake, been this naive? Perhaps, maybe the reason why we offered him 400 grand was because he made it sound like there was a possibility of him staying. Now, again, we're past this point. Like, you know, to me, Trent, great player for the club, but like I'm not putting you on my Mount Rushmore. I'm not putting you, at my King's Court. But like he's no longer a player of ours. We're gonna move forward. We'll be fine. We'll find some other right back. We'll find.
He's way so far away from Mount Rushmore anyway. He's so far away from.
Okay, I'm being colorful in my life.
So much more to get there.
But regardless, I just think that there's two sides to this coin, and whatever side you favor more, that's fine. But you know, you got to acknowledge that Trent has some responsibility here because, you know, if we're going to be this naive, I have to say, okay, are we really that stupid or how did we get fooled?
Mike, in that aspect, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're looking at the blame in terms of the player wanted to leave, then yeah, you can look at the blame of that. I know people are blaming him for wanting to leave, as Kmack just said. What I'm saying is, though, if you're looking at the businesses, the player is the asset, right? So ultimately, it's the club's, the way they deal with that situation is the way I'm going to look at who to go and blame. They didn't do everything to the best of their ability, right? They could have went and got rid of the asset much, much earlier if they had an inkling. And again, if you're viewing it, and this is why I struggle to kind of like see how your point is, if you're viewing it very kind of point blank, cold, logically, there'll be 5, 6 other people in a boardroom thinking that exact same thing. Because thinking of what Trent Alexander-Arnold means to Liverpool, the brand, not the company, not the club, but the brand, right? Because he represents, as you said, one of us. This means more that he represents that. So you are losing something that is quite big, and Liverpool do not have that. And Liverpool have benefited from having that, right? So I struggle to see how they saw that situation play out. Or like, yeah. And we're just going to be naive. Like, it
For
just
sure.
because
They definitely deserve blame, Jerry. Definitely.
Do you know, this whole Trent situation, what it's shown me that there's no loyalty in football. It doesn't matter if you support the club, come from the club, you know, born in the city, whatever it is. It's all about money, getting rich, and being famous. That's what football's about now for these youngsters of this new generation. That's why footballers in this generation talk about Ballon d'Or more than footballers did of the past. They couldn't give a shit. Yeah, today's footballers want the accolades. They want the attention. They want the media. They want the social media. They want all the interaction. That's what young footballers are like today. And young footballers, to get that, will have to go to Real Madrid. And that's where he wants to go. Look, I don't like the way he's left. I really don't like the way he left. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth massively. I think he could have gone around things maybe a little bit better. I don't believe in some of the stuff that's come out. I don't believe that, you know, where he said I told the club in March. That's probably the first time the club heard that he's leaving, but it weren't the time that Trent decided he wanted to leave. No, he wanted to leave a long time ago, in my opinion. You know, all this stuff about, like, we apparently offered him a new contract last April 2024. Everyone has shot that down now because they're saying, well, why would he have signed a new contract when he don't know who the new manager's going to be? Well, he don't know who the new manager at Real Madrid's going to be, but he's going to sign a new contract. So it's like, I just think he wants to play for Real Madrid. I just think he wants to go to Real Madrid. I don't like the way he's done it. I'm a Liverpool fan. I expect Liverpool fans that grew up in the club, maybe. If you're from Liverpool and a Scouser, there's no bigger team than Liverpool Football Club in the world. That's the number one team. There's no such thing as Real Madrid and all that. It's an emotional city, an emotional club, emotional people. They only believe in Liverpool, so they feel like they've been done dirty. But at the end of the day...
Jamie, just to get an understanding though, right? Because I'm trying to get everyone's understanding. It's only really Steven Gerrard that didn't leave, right? For Liverpool. The rest of them have left at one point. Ian Rush left, Michael Owen left, McManaman left.
And after scoring 450 goals.
Yeah, but regardless, right? I'm saying that there was, apart from Steven Gerrard, and you could argue Jamie Carragher, who wasn't obviously on the level of a Steven Gerrard, they've all left.
I think.
So
I want to ask Jamie one question. Let me just ask Jamie one question, and then after that, I want to do super chats. And I want to ask you guys about this summer, which is a lot more exciting.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Yeah, mate.
I want to ask you a genuine question. I know you have the ability to be honest. Let's say the same exact thing happened with Curtis Jones. Do you think we're that mad that he's leaving? Be real.
No, and the reason is because he's not a world-class footballer. And this is the thing. You know, I think there will be some people a bit upset that he left. If he went to a rival in England, a lot of people would be upset. But Trent is a world-class talent that we produced in the city. You know, he's one of our own. He's one of the people. He's from the city, and he grew up to be a world-class footballer, and he's well-renowned. You know, he's won everything in the game club-wise, and everyone will think he's our guy. He's the one we pick anything on, and you know he's going to do it for us. And then he's turned around and said, you know what? I feel like my heart's in Real Madrid. And that's why a lot of people are emotional about this right now. That's why a lot of people are emotional. And I think people will always be emotional about it. So, you know, we can all argue back and forth who's right and who's wrong here. I don't think you're ever going to get the right answer. I don't think we're ever going to know the real situation that happened behind the scenes. At the end of the day, Trent Alexander-Arnold is leaving our football club. Liverpool Football Club will move on. As you said before, we have lost players that are better than Trent, and we've moved on and won trophies and trophies and trophies. And Liverpool will carry on to do that. And in 5 years' time, we might be sitting here doing a show and thinking, can't even remember who Trent was because we've gone that.
Yes, if we
got
are
there and
successful, it would not
So
matter.
we just move and move and move in that situation.
Yeah. If we win the league next season, no one's going to talk about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Except spiteful people who will say, "Hey, Trent,
Do you know what it is?
we still won."
You don't even have to win
I'm
the
just,
league.
I'm just happy he won't be playing anymore. I'm glad that Slot confirmed that. So
I think the thing that gets Liverpool fans, and this is the last thing I want to say about it, is he's given us so many incredible moments. Like he really has. Like there's so many
taking quickly.
There's so many incredible things that Trent's done on the pitch, like in games, that really sticks with Liverpool fans. And it's not just that; it's the fact that he has been kind of a figurehead for Liverpool as the Scouser, as one of our own. Like he was in Steven Gerrard's book as like the kid that he seen, that he knew that he was going to make it. And I mean, let's be honest. Like it's kind of Jurgen Klopp's legacy as well at Liverpool, is that one guy, like that one guy that he brought in when the shit hit the fan and Nathaniel Klein got injured in the middle of the season, and he came in and just never ever left.
Imagine Klopp goes to Real Madrid.
We're not even going to go there.
Listen.
My conspiracy on it is that I have a feeling Klopp already knew about the Trent situation. That's why he made him vice captain.
Oh, 100%.
Try and keep
100%, mate.
That's my conspiracy. I don't know it for fact.
Why? Why would you?
I would be like, if Klopp does go to Real Madrid, I would actually be, I know a lot of fans might think the opposite, but I would actually be more understanding and more okay with that fact. Because
the first thing you said is you'd be okay, not that Klopp's a snake. Come on.
Hold on, Jerry.
That's like a snake riding a snake.
I'm not saying that Klopp wouldn't be a dick for doing that, but I would be more understanding of that, because that was Trent's manager. That was the guy who made him, right? And then he left, and Trent already was tapped up by Real Madrid. Now, I can't speak for Klopp's inclinations. I was kind of joking. I think it's I think Xabi Alonso is a shoe-in. And I'm pretty sure Klopp's agent came out and said, I don't know what the fuck you guys are reading or who you're talking to, but like he hasn't spoken to Real Madrid. But it would make more sense, and because it would make more sense, I would be more okay with that. Because at the end of the day, Slot isn't his manager, and we don't even know what Slot wants. Like, we have no idea if Slot is sitting there thinking to himself, whew, thank God I don't have to play that guy at right back anymore. We don't. And he would never say that because he's a Liverpool player. So, we can only look at the surface level of things. And I would just get it.
One last thing, though. I will say, I think there's blame on everyone on this, not just Trent, because the club have to take blame for it as well. If my kid, when he's out without me or his mum and he's a little shit, that's down on me and his mum, because he shouldn't be acting like that. So for Trent the contract situation with Trent is down on the club at the same time, because there is ways we could have gone around it differently, I suppose. And it's a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of everything. But you know what? As soon as this season finishes, I'm probably never going to think about Trent again. You know what I mean?
This is true. And listen, on that note, big up to all 700 people locked in. Let me just grab a couple of these super chats, and then I want to move on to Trent replacements and transfers, and kind of just looking at the future of Liverpool Football Club. With the stuff Slot's been saying, with the stuff that we've been hearing in the media, with the stuff Slot has been saying.
We about to get B-Tech Trent to replace Trent. Ooh, I don't know.
Let's go. So we're going to talk about all that. So big up to all of you guys. Guys, we got 700 people in here. 141 likes.
That's
Have
terrible.
some fucking shame, you bunch of...
Darwin Nunez type conversion
So you want to
percentage.
talk about Darwin Nunez replacements, and you're putting up Darwin Nunez numbers. Like the video, you fucking frauds right now.
I actually think that's worse than Nunez's conversion rate.
I mean, you've managed to put so many snakes in the bloody chat. At least hit the likes as many times.
Scraps, that's aimed at you. Big up to Box of Oranges, who says, we won another league title in part because of Trent. I don't see how making this a toxic public spectacle would have been a better scenario. I do agree. I think people who say, speak up on all this, it would have been worse as the season progressed. He would have been booed all season long, and maybe Newcastle away wouldn't have happened, and games like that wouldn't have happened. And to be honest with you, I think if we played Trent in the Carabao Cup final, we'd definitely won that. And when he was on the pitch against PSG, we were the better side. Big up to Ponzi, says big up the panel, and Mike you later too, I guess. Yep, Mike you later's enjoying that New York results right now. You get me? The Knicks just slapping up the Celtics. It's like this, Habibi. It's not like this.
No, I know, and I just went 2-0.
Don't ever disrespect Jalen Brunson.
I just said 2-0 because we're up 2-0 in the series.
Are the Raptors in the playoffs? No, they're not. Big up to BIG, says, what position do you guys play in real life football? What positions do you guys play?
When I played, I was a central midfielder.
Left back.
Mike?
Had a wicked cross on me.
Park me anywhere in front of the goalkeeper. I'm just gonna lay in a hard tackle. I'm fast, but I can't touch the ball for shit.
Emeka?
I played striker.
Jerry?
I played all over the centre back, centre mid, right back. That's what I played.
Apparently,
played
I
all
only started
central.
watching football 2 years ago. Thanks, Scrap. Appreciate it.
Damn, Scraps. Scraps is on to everyone. I played all the central positions because I'm not quick, so I was never on the wing. Big up to Alex, who says, if he don't think like us, then he's a rat. Simple. Wow. Wow, Alex. Fair. Man said, you think like me or you're a rat. I appreciate it. Big up to Lit Vibes, who says, I don't think Madrid would have bought Trent unless he was free. So from Trent, he didn't have a choice. Only Carvalho injury made it a possibility.
Maybe.
I think they would have attempted to buy Trent, but they would have probably paid like 60 or something. I don't think they would have went like way too high anyway. Like, and we would have demanded more, and it would have been a saga, and eventually he would have stayed. I'm watching Inside Training now. No Trent, he is done, is what Wouter is saying. Yeah, I saw the video that you guys are talking about, and everyone's acting like it just doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's actually
Like
quite
this next
hilarious.
season.
Yeah, Slots talking about next season already. Big up to Jack, who says, remember this every time we talk about the Trent situation. United, Chelsea, and Arsenal fans all saying Trent has done nothing wrong, and this is who you agree with. I don't personally agree with he's done nothing wrong. I'm just can I not just be upset that I'm losing a world-class player? Like, I'm just upset, bro. Like, you know, that's it. I'm really gutted that we're losing the best right back in the world. That's how I feel right now. But if you're angry, that's fine. If you're not, that's fine. I don't dictate emotions. Big up to Khaled, who says, Trent leaving for free is FSG's fault, not Trent. I am happy he's going because Trent was a luxury player who compromised other players. Plus, he was lazy. There is so much to unpack in the super chat. So much. It's FSG's fault, but you're happy he's going. So it's not FSG's fault, and it's FSG praise for you because you're happy he's going. I guess. You know?
It's a little backwards. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little backward right there, Khaled. Listen, for me, I think
I'm not
Trent's
sure you're a
fantastic.
Liverpool fan, by the way.
That's fantastic. He's a fantastic player. I think you'll do. I really wish he was fit for fucking Wembley, man. Big up to Box of Oranges. Kwanzaa right back. Lord have mercy. European rival is a fake concept. Madrid Bayern is the most played Champions League fixture. Cruz, Alonso, Alaba, etc. are not snakes. I do agree with that. I don't think there is such a thing as European rival. I don't believe that. I think your rivals are clubs in your local league. I just don't accept the concept of a European rival because you can't dictate how many times you face each other, if you face each other or not. So if we were doing this stream in 2008, would we all say AC Milan is our European rival?
I think in the continent it might be a little bit different in Europe because, like you can have star footballers in Italy play for Juventus, Inter Milan, and AC Milan all in their career. You know, that would hardly ever happen in our country, would it? So I think we might see rivalry a little bit differently. But maybe that's
that's actually fair. That is fair.
The only reason why I said it is because we played them so many times and been beaten. Well, mainly.
No, I hear it. I just don't agree with the concept.
I just don't want to strengthen that team in case we play them again next season.
Generally, with the rivalry, you win against them, but we've only really won against them.
Yeah, I know.
So,
and that's what I hate as well, mate.
Curtis Jones wouldn't do it. To think it's okay the way he left Liverpool, fan, you don't understand Liverpool as a city, is what Donny is saying. Jerry, this to you, I think.
Fair enough. I think that's why Liverpool's a global club. That 100% comes from the city, but what makes the club is all the fans around the world. Look at Hassam. You're on Hassam's channel right now. his experience as a Liverpool fan will be slightly different to one that lives in the city. Doesn't mean he's less of a Liverpool fan. Doesn't mean I'm less of a Liverpool fan. So yeah, thank you for the donation.
Put one in the chat if you think I'm more scoused than Tom Little. Big up to Billo who says, flip the script. If Trent was struggling or always injured, they'd have cashed in without a second thought. I hear you, Billo, but here's the thing. This whole flip the script thing, like, yes, and that's why I asked about Curtis Jones. Because if we sold Curtis Jones this summer, no one's going to go like, oh, the Scouser is leaving Liverpool. Like, I wouldn't mind, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't mind. So, yeah. Big up everyone who's spamming one in the chat. I'm definitely more scoused than Tom the Wool. Big up to Jack who says, Stevie hasn't said a word about number 66. Says it all, is what Jack is saying. I hear it.
I think out of all of them, Stevie is probably the most pissed.
That's a good point. That's actually good.
I think out of all of them, he's probably is the most pissed.
All right, what if right? he spoke to Gerald and Gerald told him, yeah, go do what I didn't do.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing.
You never know.
That's impossible.
It's just one of them there, isn't it?
Conjecture, speculation, objective form.
I don't know. I just
it hurt.
I hear your logic, but I just can't buy it. Like I just can't buy
it. It just hurt you too much.
No,
it doesn't matter how Stevie feels because
there's no way Stevie told him leave Liverpool. I don't think that.
He's already eaten paella. He's sitting on the beach with Jude. He's chilling.
Yeah, big up. Brahmi accent, Jude. Big up to Tip who says, big up Hussam. Can you change your name from Tip? Because I can't say big up. Big up Hussam, Jerry, and everyone else is what Tip is saying. Thank you. Tip.
Big up Tip.
T, big up T. Thank you for picking us up. This is, if I'm not mistaken, ain't this Korean yuan, I swear. This is Korean yuan.
That's yen, ain't it? Yen.
No, that's the Korean currency.
It might be.
That's yen.
You tell us, calculator Hussam.
There is someone watching us in Korea right now.
Are you allowed?
Yeah, you are.
That's yen. That's yen.
That's Japanese. That's Japanese yen. Yeah.
That's one. Does someone say one? One?
It's Japanese yen.
One
Japanese
Korean.
yen, not one.
Yen is
one is Korean. Yeah.
No, one. Sorry, my bad. Wait, there is a currency called yuan. I think that's in China. That is in China. Yuan.
Yeah, they don't have YouTube in China, so
they don't. Wanted Zubimendi to come, but Mad Trent is going, is what Bill was saying. Yeah, of course. We're football fans. We're allowed to be hypocrites.
Name me a football fan that's not a hypocrite. It's impossible.
Billo, you're an Arsenal fan. You're the biggest hypocrite.
Name me a human being that isn't a hypocrite. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Me. Big up to Eli who says Madrid. Damn. Liverpool around. Enough is enough. That's what Playbook of Eli is saying. Is that a picture of Grizz, by the way?
No, it's a character from Star Wars.
That's Star Wars. That's a fire. That's a thingy fighter in Star Wars. Yeah.
You're such a
Grizz. He looks like an alien.
I thought you just edited the. Yuan is China. Yeah,
that's an X-Wing fighter. I think it's an X-Wing.
I know they've got two currencies, Yuan and RMB. I think the other one is called. Anyway, 700 people in the building. Big up everyone locked in. 220 likes, which is a lot better. Mods, keep pushing the likes. Let's getting the likes up. We're going to be talking about everyone's favorite thing, which is transfers. We're going to be talking about Frimpong, Isak, Alvarez, all them things. And let me tell you guys something. I was just messaging, trying to find out the best I can about this Frimpong stuff, and it is indeed realer than you ever think. He could be one of the people we complete first in this transfer window, to be honest with you. So I didn't expect it at all. Right back really was low down the priority list. I did not make that up. I think still striker is the biggest priority, but it seems like they're moving quickly with this whole Frimpong thing, because I would assume they're thinking that there might be interest from other clubs who want a right back as well. So there might be, because the price tag is too silly to not go in. And also the thing that's making this easier is Leverkusen are accepting installments.
4 of them.
That's the thing. Keep in mind. Very important, chat. They're accepting installments, so they don't want 30 directly. It's like it's okay. They're okay with like 10, or 8, blah blah blah. Whatever.
It's so low risk.
And you all laughed at me when I said the slot was on the phone with Frimpong a couple of weeks ago. And
hold that, Scraps.
And you all doubted me.
Cook Scraps. Cook
You
scraps.
all doubted me.
He's
Scraps
homegrown
is
as well,
fun.
isn't it? Which is a plus.
Frimpong
Yes,
makes the
again,
most
very sorry.
He's homegrown.
homegrown. Yeah.
Yes, many people don't know
That's
that Frimpong is homegrown because he
It,
played in the City Academy.
it
Yeah.
makes
So-
perfect sense, this transfer.
It's too sensible.
And then played
And
in
as
But
much
we
as you
got-
like Conor
Celtic as
Bradley,
well.
We
here's
got to
one
get
thing
our
I
own
just
house
say.
in order first, dude.
Let me just say something about Conor Bradley. As amazing as Conor Bradley is, he's had 3 injuries in a year and a half. What I don't want to do is season starts, Bradley plays the first 3 Premier League games, then plays Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, Champions League, and then come like September time, the guy's legs is gone and all that. Like it's gonna be completely
And
disgraceful.
we're
We
relying
need
on
to upgrade.
Gomez at right back.
I think this is why it's a very good
I think Gomez
transfer.
will stay.
I think this transfer is very good, actually, because if you look at what Frimpong, I think Liverpool are trying to get Kirkes and Frimpong as the fullbacks because it's pure pace down the wide areas of the pitch.
I agree.
And with Frimpong, he does score a lot of goals from wide positions as well. And also, what you do with Frimpong, he covers the whole right hand side, so you don't actually have to go into the market to find a right winger to back up Mo Salah if you've got someone like Frimpong. Also, Conor Bradley can still play a lot of games. You know, you've got a good mixture of 2 fullbacks there who do 2 different things. So I actually think for the money he is, I think the 4 installments, and it works out like it's 8 million first installment up front and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a good bit of business if Liverpool can do this. If they can get Frimpong, I know everyone keeps going on about the defensive fullbacks, this and that. Liverpool would never go play low block. So Liverpool would never go after defensive fullbacks. They want attacking minded fullbacks, yeah. And if you play in a way that you keep possession a lot better higher up the pitch, your fullbacks shouldn't actually get exposed. And if they do, you want fullbacks that have got the pace to do recovery runs, like Kirkes has and like Frimpong has. So I think this is I've got this sneaky feeling that he wants to sort of play like PSG are playing this season, and an attacking sense with the way they do their fullbacks. And that's why he's looking at these 2 fullbacks.
That is indeed accurate, which is why we're going to be looking at Wharton soon.
Yeah, I think these are the 2 coming.
I think the thing with Frimpong, it's just like, to me, it's like it literally reads FSG Michael Edwards opportunistic signing, right? Like the last time we paid 35 million release clause for a player, he became the best player in our team, and that's Alexis McAllister. And I would have no issue with
Best player.
Do you say best player in our team?
You say best?
Personally, I like, that's just who I say is the best. I mean, obviously, listen, Mo is clearly the best goal scorer.
You mean?
But
Best
you know,
midfielder.
I just you know what? Let's just concede. I don't want this to turn into a McAllister conversation. He's our best midfielder.
No, you cannot say best player. Fucking hell, chill out.
I mean, listen, he's been fucking exceptional, and he does more than just score goals. But regardless of that, it makes perfect sense financially. It makes perfect sense opportunistically, and ultimately, if we're gonna want to play that style of football, there really is no better right back out there who is comparable to Trent, right? Like if Slot's thing is that I don't want to change too much about this team, then the one player on the market to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold would be Frimpong. And then you add in the rotation of Conor Bradley to that, we'll be perfectly fine. And for 35 million,
from Monaco, chat. Wanderson from Monaco, and it also could be Wesley from Flamengo. Watch out for those 2 as well.
But we're talking 35 million here, guys. Like today, 35 million is like chump change.
That is peanut.
Literally, and you're gonna do 8 million a year. You're telling me that I spent more on Endo in one summer than I'm gonna have to spend on this first summer for Frimpong? Like I don't give a shit about the other options. That's just too good of a deal for the quality of player that he is.
I think Liverpool try and do that with every signing, isn't it? I think any signing that we look at.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're smart.
Yeah, like that. I mean, if he was 70,
It's gonna be installment summer.
Yeah, like I never thought he was even in the running because I thought he'd be 70, 80 million, and I thought, Liverpool ain't paying that for fullback. So
yeah, but for a release clause, yeah.
Can I just mention something on the Frimpong thing? Because I can see a lot of people saying that he's not similar to Trent. I think what Liverpool are trying to replace is we're trying to replace the GA that we're going to lose out of the team. And if you look at the 4 players that are all linked at leaving Liverpool, you've got Nunez, you've got Jota, you've got Trent, and you've got Harvey Elliott. If you take their combined GA just this season completely out of the team, that's like 40. Okay, whether that's goals or assists is irrelevant. It's GA. Okay, and if you look at the 4 players that we're looking to maybe replace them with, you've got Frimpong, who does about 15 every season, which is more than Trent, by the way. Just saying, it's more than Trent. Then you've got Kirkes, who does about 10. Then you've got strikers like Alvarez, who does like 35, 30. And then potentially another player, maybe a midfielder or maybe a 10 or maybe another winger who's potentially going to do 20. Well, you're going to increase that GA by a huge amount, which is obviously going to help the team. But the most important thing about Frimpong, which people are forgetting about, is when he got signed from Celtic, he was a right back. He was a very good right back for a couple of years when he got signed from Celtic.
I do think he can play right back. I think people exaggerate.
He got pushed.
People act like he just can't defend at all. Like he's okay. Like he ain't amazing, but he's okay.
He got
and
pushed.
The thing that pisses me off of this fucking conversation every single time is, you ask anyone who's the best right back ever, 90% will say Dani Alves. Best left back ever, 90% say Marcelo or Roberto Carlos. The best ever fullbacks are remembered for what they do fucking going forward. If anyone watched Marcelo week in, week out, he used to get fucking destroyed, Marcelo, by most wingers he came up against in La Liga. Dani Alves used to leave so much space. You guys remember playing Pro Evolution back in the day? When as soon as you loaned up Barcelona, Dani Alves was next to Messi, like on right wing almost.
I was a FIFA guy, but yeah.
And that space was so fucking empty because those two cannot defend, guys. So, yeah.
So just on him as well, and that's a fair point. Like the best right backs are remembered of what they do going forward, not back. Is Frimpong was a right back with Celtic, went to Bayer Leverkusen, and basically Alonso looked at his capabilities. He's really fast. He's really good at dribbling. Yeah. And he's got a real eye for a pass into the box to cut the ball back. And he can take players on. That's something our right back can't do. And none of our right backs have done for a long time, by the way. That's just a Liverpool thing. And the left back side, what's Kirkes really good at? Kirkes has got an engine on him. He's basically like a younger Robbo. So there's not much you have to change there. And he might get used more defensively if Frimpong's more higher up. But the thing about Frimpong is if we push Frimpong further up, that means Mo Salah can move into the hot zone, which is what Klopp has talked about all the time. He's getting players into the hot zone. And that means Mo comes more centrally, and then he can have more chances and he can score more goals and create more goals for other people. And then he's got the overlap and the underlap of Frimpong. And what's Kyle Walker been good at? He's not been good defensively. He's just been good at being able to run really fast. That's what Frimpong does.
Yeah. Frimpong is quick as shit as well.
You don't have to win. You don't have to win the challenge. You just have to occupy space.
You just have to be there.
That's why I didn't criticize Trent's performance against City at home, because Trent wasn't winning duels, but he was ushering Doku down the line and forcing him to cross it from a low percentage position. And then everyone says, "Oh, Doku cooked Trent." It's like, what fucking sport are you watching? Because City didn't score a single fucking goal. And in fact, none of those even led to a concrete opportunity. And that's sort of the job of the modern fullback. There are name one top level team who has two defensive minded fullbacks sitting back the whole game.
Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, literally.
You can't. Did you watch Dumfries or fucking DeMarco against Barcelona?
I mean, 1980s.
Dumfries, by the way, people think he gets cooked even way worse. Sorry, I have to just address one thing quickly, Jamie. First of all, big up to John in the Ghost who says Trent for a Woodgate debut, own goal and red card. Big up. Someone on Twitter predicted this in the Club World Cup against Nunez for Al Hilal.
Oh, we are signing the whole Dutch national team. I will say we are just becoming Dutch.
I will though complain if this happens. This is the thing I want to address. Gagandeep, I love you, but let me address this. Frimpong's the wing back, not the right back. He's worse than Trent defensively. For Holland plays right wing. What are we doing here? I'd rather Ola Aina, Jed Spence. First of all, Jed Spence has been part of a Spurs defense that has been absolutely annihilated all season long. And Jed Spence himself is not that good defensively either. So it's not like you're mentioning an example of like an elite level defensive right back. And the thing with Ola Aina is I know he's a free agent, but we're not going to sign a 30-year-old. We're simply not. And also, this is something that I want to mention. Guys, and this might even sometimes, like we do this, even us, like all 6 of us on the panel, sometimes we just complicate football. A wing back can play as a fullback, guys. Can I tell you the other thing? We might be looking at Ait Nouri to play left back. He plays left wing back in the Wolves system. We could get him because he's cheaper. You know, you could always, like, you could make, you want to know what it is? I'm not asking you to sign Sherky and make him a left back. Then you should be mad. But if I'm asking you to sign a right wing back and make him a right back, that's very acceptable. Like, that's nothing crazy.
I don't get. I'm with you. I don't get all this wing back, right back stuff. I don't think Trent's been a right back for years at Liverpool. You know what I mean? It doesn't act like a right back. You know, if you look at all the best, it's about joining the attack. It's about keeping possession higher up the pitch. It's about pressing. That's what it's about. Look at Hakimi, you know, for PSG. Look how much he gets in attacking areas, even just into central areas in the final third. You know, because his ability on the ball and he's a great attacking dribbling, and you know, he can get out wide of his pace. You know, if he's out wide of his pace, that means the winger next to him can tuck inside a little bit more and get in more of an attacking position. And that's what Frimpong's going to bring you. I think we worry about too much of what players can't do instead of worrying what they can do.
Fact.
And we need, we've always been like that. I mean, yeah, could we go and buy a more defensive? Like the geezer at Nottingham Forest looks great because he plays in a low block team. Yeah, that you play him at Liverpool when we're playing more attack-minded football and pushing higher up the pitch. What's he going to be like on the halfway line every week?
Yeah,
you know, it's. I think Frimpong would be a good bit of business. Vanderson would be a good bit of business. They're all very good attack-minded fullbacks. You know, I'm happy with either of them. They've all got pace, run down the wing. You look at, you know, Conor Bradley's not Trent. We can all understand that. He's not got Trent's ability on the ball, right, for the final ball, final cross. Hence, I think it was against Chelsea when he actually got himself in beautiful positions, by the way, and his final ball just wasn't good enough, yeah? He's only young. That final ball will come eventually. The more he practices, the more he trains, the more he learns, yeah?
Who are you talking about? Sorry, just to confirm.
Conor Bradley. I'm saying about Conor Bradley.
Yeah, of course.
That'll come eventually. It's never going to be Trent standard, but who is going to be Trent standard that we can literally buy? So,
no one. No one.
But Conor Bradley, look what he does. Look how up and down the pitches. Look at the pace he's got when he gets attacking forward, you know. Look how much it helps out Salah, who takes up that central area where you want your main goal scorer. So, yeah, I'm excited by it. I can't lie. I'm excited by the summer. I'm excited by, you know, who we get in this right back position. You know, I'm happy with it.
Guys, we're not going to get the fucking PSG captain to join Liverpool
Football
Club.
But if we're going to talk about the back line,
I would love
to sign a deal. Hasn't he just signed a new contract?
It's unrealistic. Do you want me to sit up here and do like Bastoni and Barella for the fucking 4th summer in a row? Come on, guys. We would all take Bastoni. We would all take Barella. We'd all take Hakimi, but it's not realistic. He's not going to join.
We are on the. So we just had a full hour talking about Trent, and we're on the precipice of another situation just like that because we have to sign. Like the first thing I want to see is Konate 2-year extension, Konate 3-year extension, whatever it's going to be, because now I'm seeing links to Manchester City, and I don't want to sit here a year from now after buying a right back and a left back and say, all right, top priority, center back, let's go. Got to replace Konate. Joe Gomez is gone. Kwanzaa's not ready. So we have to get that figured out. I don't know if you guys all saw that.
Can I get sorted this summer? The other side's a new deal. We sell him.
Yeah, I think he should be renewed. I
think we have to pay him.
Emeka, let me bring you into this conversation. We've kind of spoken about fullback a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on the more sexy positions. Let's talk forward line, Emeka.
Nothing more.
You've been one of the people that you've been very convinced with the whole Isak thing. Talk to me. How are you feeling about it now? Still as convinced?
Yeah, again, it's just the Edwards thing, like just that gut feeling of I feel like we don't spend a lot of money, but when we do, we're gonna go for serious quality if they're gonna put that money on the table. Especially when players like Ekatike is getting quoted for like 100 mil. I think I saw even Sesko now, his price is, because obviously everyone wants a 9, so everyone's price is going up. So I think if that's going to be the price that has to be paid anyway, I feel like our board is the type to just put the extra 20 on the table and get the best that's available. So I just think, I still think I think we spoke about this, Hussam, is the reason I still have optimism for it is the reports coming out of Newcastle, where it sounds to me like they're getting a little nervous. Like they keep saying he's not for sale, and we're going to try to get him to sign up. And even when I look at the book,
by the way, Newcastle are looking at Sesko now. Just so
yeah, they're looking at him now, and Ekatike as well. And even when I look at the odds, like on like the betting sites, like it's surprising to me how high our odds are to actually get him. And usually that's based on some sort of knowledge that the bookies have of what's going on behind the scenes. So again, I think it's one to watch. I saw the reports come out again today that Saudi is going to come back in for Darwin. So hopefully we can get that 60, 70 million for him, and that's going to go a long way for us.
Party stream.
It's 130. It's 135 million for Nunez and Diaz from Al Hilal.
Mike Cass, Drifty, Tom Little, Ends are not invited.
No.
Fuck out of here, bro. I haven't been a Nunez fan for like a year. Calm down.
You do know Saudi Arabia could fund our whole summer, by the way.
Perfect. Let's go.
They funded our midfield, mate.
Yeah, but okay. The issue with selling Diaz is that now you got to fucking go out there and sign a left winger. I don't want.
I wouldn't sell Diaz.
I don't want to sit here and play fucking Jenga and have to fill every possible hole. Like if we can get, like Jota's not leaving, right? Nunez is leaving. If Nunez is gone, Jota has to stay. It's simple as that. We're not signing 2 strikers. And if you spend that much on Isak, if you sell Nunez for 70, I mean, let's just be insane here, insanely pessimistic, and say that they're like 140 or no deal. That's still 70 out of pocket, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's not the end of the world. Like I don't know how concrete these things are. I would the way that he celebrated against scoring against us at the Carabao Cup final, and the fact that they're looking like they would get into the Champions League. I mean, if they get in the Champions League, the price is going to go up. So that would make it only even more expensive. Plus, you have the idea that, like, does he want to leave that club in that position?
Yeah, it just comes down to the player. I think regardless of whether they get champs or not, the price is going to be high. It's whether the player is willing to say, I want to go. I gave you guys a Carabao Cup. Like, I want to go, whatever, play for Liverpool. But I think I agree. I wouldn't want to sell Diaz. And just knowing our club, I think we're going to do with Jota next year what our reporters tried to do with Nunez this year. Like, oh, we're going to get...
Jota stays, Diaz will leave, though. Keep this in mind.
You think who will leave?
If Jota stays, I think Diaz might leave.
You think so?
Why?
Yes. Because of the model.
So are you signing 2 strikers?
No.
If Diaz leaves, we must accept that we're going to go all in Nico Williams.
I think it's the other way around.
Explain that though, Hussam. Why does our model...
I think that Diaz might ask to leave this summer.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
I think Diaz will want to leave, and he will want to go to a different club. Unless, if he decides to stay, this is what I predict happens. I think we sell both Jota and Nunez. I think we improve centrally. We keep the same left wingers that we have, which is low-key and not a bad decision because the ones centrally have been fucking awful.
Who's the second striker that you're buying behind Isak?
That one I've got no idea, and I literally have no clue. I literally have no clue.
Rio. Oh, my bad. My bad, Kmack. We're gonna put Rio there. We're gonna have a 17-year-old backup.
No, I said Rio's going to be
Here we go.
I said he's going to be 5th choice.
Shall I leave you both on screen to find this one out?
I think it's going to be the other way around. I actually think if we sign Konate to a new deal, I don't think we're going to give a 4th player a massive contract in the same summer. That'd be Virgil, Salah, and Konate. Trent leaving. I don't think we're going to give Diaz, who's going to be 28 years of age,
I agree.
a brand new big deal. So I think with the form Diaz is on now, it's the perfect time to actually sell him. If you're actually thinking about it,
It's the model, Jamie. It's the model.
Yeah, with 2 years left, with the format he's in, if you're going to sign Konate out, if I have to pick between Konate and Diaz, I'm picking Konate to have the new contract. I think Diaz will probably leave this summer, and Liverpool get a new left winger in. If Diaz don't leave this summer, then we ain't buying no.
Yeah, we're on it back. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think the point you made, Hussam, is makes the most sense in terms of I think the player will request to leave because I think he's on like 50K a week at his age. If Saudi comes in with a crazy number, he'll be like, you know what, I won the Prem. Let me just go there and make a bag. Like,
yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah,
and I think with the money thing as well, people might think I'm crazy, but. Listen, we tried it with Rodrigo when he was in Brazil, but he rejected us to complete his studies. We don't know the depth of that situation. We don't. I am not making the claim that we're going to sign Rodrigo. I'm not. All I'm saying is we were interested in the player even when he was in Brazil. So it could be a situation where we look at him. He rejected us so he can finish school and shit like that. So it's just a complete different thing. But it depends on the price tag Madrid put on him. Like I give you a scenario. We sell Diaz for 80, we sign, and Rodrigo's available for 100. We're gonna go all in. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying. That's why, guys. It's not even about what I want. I'm talking about the model. Michael Edwards is back now, right? Richard Hughes is this guy. Look at let's analyze what the model is.
Yeah.
Sell to buy. We all acknowledge this. So now the reason why Liverpool want 80, 90 million for Darwin Nunez. So I'm gonna take that 90 million, buy a left back, a right back, and a centre back with it. Sell to buy. It's just a cycle thing, like cycle of the.
And with Mark Wednesday, we usually upgrade on the talent as well that we've got.
Yeah.
But so the striker I want in the summer is Julian Alvarez because I think he suits Liverpool to a T.
But he's not going to come, Jamie. He's not going to come.
Well,
he might.
I don't know about that. And
he might. He would have last year. He would have last year, but we just didn't want to pay it.
What are the odds that he's going to win anything?
Hang on. Julian Alvarez is actually a cheaper option as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people realize Julian Alvarez is only on 130 grand a week. Everyone thinks he's on monster money. He's actually the cheaper option.
Did you see that quote he had where he's like, he was talking
about fuck his missus. Like at the end of the day, his wife can stay in Spain and she can stay there. He's making all the money.
No.
Harry, it was his wife who wanted to leave England. It weren't him.
No, not that quote. He had a quote about Romero where he's like, "I'm trying to get Romero to come to Madrid."
He's gonna say things like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna say
maybe he's just loyal, guys. Maybe he's just loyal to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Coming in with the low blow.
Alvarez.
Jamie gets mad when I say he gets us cancelled, and he just had to fuck Julian Alvarez's wife.
Hold on, Hussam. I don't what I'm failing to understand here is that your theory suggests that we would get rid of Nunez and Jota and buy 2 strikers. Do you guys are you under the presumption here that we're about to get 7 new players? When is the buck going to stop? Because if we're going to get Frimpong for 35, and let's be pessimistic and say we get Aït-Nouri for 20, that's 55 right there.
He's 50.
Now you're telling me
he's 50, Mike.
Okay, my bad. You know what? 85. That's 85 on 2 players. Now you're telling me I'm going to get.
I thought it's not 50.
He's almost 10, 20 million. So
I thought he's like
regardless. I mean, I think that we're going to have a big summer, but I don't think that we're going to spend 300 million unless
think of the model.
Unless I know, but that would mean that we're making 200 million in sales. So where are we getting that?
Can I just break it down?
Tsimikas, Ben Doak, right there. Nunez, Tsimikas, Ben Doak. Elliot, by the way, just so you know, Elliot is leaving this summer, guys. Just put the fries in the bag. He's gonna go.
Yeah.
So that's another 40 million we're gonna get right there. 30 million, 40 million.
Yeah,
that's notice this, Mike. This is without selling Jota or Diaz. None. Look how much money we've made already. Tyler Morton will ask to leave because Bajcetic will become the Tyler Morton next season. Bajcetic himself might be sold as well. That's another thing. So my point is, look, we are trying our best to make as much money this summer because we plan to spend. Thing with Isak is top target. the top target at Liverpool Football Club is Alexander Isak. However, we must be prepared for plan B, plan C, plan D. This is what the club is going to do. We're going to try for Alexander Isak. He doesn't want to leave. Newcastle asking for too much money, blah, blah, blah. Then we're going to move on to plan B. Plan B is, hello, Diego. We have a hole for you to save. Let's go. Nunez and money for Alvarez. I think that's a genuine possibility. Do not write that off at all. Julian Alvarez, and you were there in the comments when I said Julian Alvarez last summer and people laughed at me. And then 5 months later, Sam Maguire is like, oh, Julian Alvarez. So I knew what I was talking about at the time. We rejected Manchester City's offer of Diaz and money for Alvarez. We could have had Alvarez last summer, but we didn't want to give them Diaz in return. So what then happened is he moved to Atletico Madrid. Now, a player of Julian Alvarez's caliber, with all due respect to Atletico Madrid, is not an Atletico caliber player. Like Atletico are like the tier below, you know, Barca and Madrid. Let's just be objective here. So I think he's a higher caliber player than that. And I think there's a possibility that we send Nunez that way and we get Alvarez. Now, the reason why that's a bit more complex is you've got to convince Nunez to go to Atletico. You've got to convince Diego Simeone to buy Nunez. So those two things are going to be very fucking difficult.
Why would you want Nunez over Alvarez?
If Alvarez wants to leave, which he did show the desire to join.
Apparently Nunez is very popular in other European countries.
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to mention as well. It's not how we rate a player. Think of from a sporting director perspective. Can I give you a prime example, Jerry? Who is the shittest player in any top 6 side right now? Alejandro Garnacho. Fucking Napoli wanted him. Antonio. They're about to win Serie A.
I don't think you're saying Alejandro Garnacho. I'm sorry. That is nothing compared to what we've got with Nunez.
That's a lot worse.
I'm telling you, Nunez is a hell of a lot worse. So when we're talking about Nunez,
I disagree completely. Garnacho, I'm the Nunez biggest hater. Garnacho started like 30 games. He scored 2 goals, bro.
No. 100%. One is a player from the academy that they've just brought through that Napoli are interested in, and one we signed for 80 bloody million pounds. I'm sorry, there's a massive difference. Massive
difference to who? To
I
us?
don't. You think Simeone will look at Nunez and be like, you know what? Yeah, Alvarez, go. We want Nunez.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if Alvarez wants to leave. And now after that is the plan C.
Why would he want Nunez? That is my point. It's not that we're giving him Jota. You know, Jota's like, okay.
Yeah, but Diego Simeone had signed Morata before.
Do you know, Jerry?
He signed Morata before.
Jerry, do you know why he might? Do you know why he might want Nunez? Suarez.
What?
He's actually
Suarez.
a Simeone level type player, by the way.
Suarez
Counter attacks, running behind, very quick.
Uruguayan. Suarez might help make that move happen.
Hold on. When we look at Atletico Madrid strikers, right? From Forlan to Falcao.
Exactly.
Greece.
But you're mentioning the good ones.
No.
You're just mentioning the good ones now. Mention the bad ones too.
It's perfectly.
We could talk about Morata. You could talk about Depay. You can keep going.
Angel Correa,
Yes,
Joaquin Correa.
Do you know what they all have? Do you know what they all have in common? Technically, they are really good.
Morata is not technically good at all.
I'm telling you, for a
Forlan was shit in this country, though.
Morata, you don't make it pro in
So
Spain
why did Simeone sign Sorloth?
Huh?
Is Sorloth good technically? I dare you say Sorloth is good technically.
I'm telling you now, if you saw off back to goal play, he's holding up the ball and bringing players into play. I'm not saying he's Messi with dribbling.
You just make the claim that Sorloth is good technically. He's not good
better than he can hold the ball up better than Nunez. You know, technique's not about dribbling. It's about can you control the ball when it comes into you.
I'm not talking about dribbling here. I just don't think Sorloth is technically good at all.
What's your all right? So if we went to play, and we had like a test, right, and you played 50-yard balls into Sorloth's feet under pressure, who do you think is going to control them and bring players into play? Nunez or it's going to be Sorloth?
Out of 50, Sorloth will control like 10. Nunez will control like 7.
No, but they would. That's my point. They would. We've seen. I've seen it with Nunez where the touch takes him out of play.
But you're saying this to me. No one hates Nunez more than me in this panel.
Nah, I'm telling you now. You're
like, you know, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go
that was my biggest. When we used to talk about Nunez, that was my biggest problem. Is I couldn't understand how the basics, the fundamentals weren't there. That was the problem. It wasn't even the finishing at one point. It wasn't even the finishing.
Jerry. Atletico Madrid are also looking at Jonathan David on a free transfer. By the way,
Yeah, but that's my point.
So they're looking at strikers.
That's my point. So you look at they're looking at Jonathan David. That's why I'm looking at. So
they're looking at strikers. So there could be a possibility. Can I just mention like this war chest that we're all talking about? Yeah, I just think it's really interesting because if you look at the team, yeah, you look at the players, and I'm also looking at the contracts as well. By the way, so you got Nunez. Slot doesn't want Nunez. That's a fact. Okay, he's going. Okay, whether we get 50 million, whether we get 70 million, I don't know. Probably in between. Okay, so that's a done deal. That's going somewhere. And there's plenty of suitors for him, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Italy, whether it's Spain, it doesn't matter. He's going. Okay. Then you look at the other players. So you've got Diaz, who's got 2 years left, and contract negotiations. If a big enough offer comes in, I think we sell him. Okay, because I don't think we're going to offer too many contracts, just like Jamie said. So I think he could go. Jota's only got 2 years left on his contract. We need to make a decision on him as well, because I don't think we're going to let it get down to 1 year like we've done with the others. So I think Jota could go as well, by the way. I think it could be
Jota, though? Who would buy
I think there could be a lot of players leaving this club.
Saudi.
I really do. So Jota might go as well.
The whole team?
There's a lot of teams that want Jota,
Hey,
mate.
No, but you see,
Saudi
like
can buy a
Jota,
lot of
you see like Jota, right? If I heard, for example, Alvarez, but Jota going the other way, I can understand
That
how
would make sense as well, yeah.
would be like, you know what? He wants to go.
Yeah, but
Cool.
then we'd have to pay a lot of money for that to happen.
Let's take a gamble on a Jota on his fitness because we know.
But Jerry, you're looking how we're looking at it. You're not looking from a sporting director
from a
perspective.
sporting director's point of
Directors
view.
think differently.
No, but that's my point. No, but
Uruguay is number 9. He's playing for Liverpool Football Club. He's had a good season in a sporting director's eyes, not the season the year before, so they can believe that the guy can be the next
director. But no, Hussam, you're not listening. The sporting director could look at a Jota and be like, "Oh my God, he's injury prone, and therefore we're not going to sign him." I'm saying if they look,
that could happen 100%.
Yes,
You've done that.
Also, but they could also on the flip side look at it and be like, "Oh, but we can take a gamble in it. We're going to take a gamble on his injury, just like we did." with
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
That's my point. Yeah. So I'm saying I can see and Atletico Madrid, right, getting rid of Alvarez, who is their best striker, and saying,
Jota used to play at Atletico anyway.
Yeah, that's my point. So I could potentially see that. I'm telling you now, if Nunez is going, it will be. I'm telling you, it will be some other Premier League club, it will be some German club, or it will be
that's what I'm saying. I think that's more likely. I think he's going to go Saudi, most likely.
Yeah.
That's not my point. I'm saying our plan B, us, what we will attempt to do, which is that's our plan B. But then even if that doesn't work, then you've got to have plan C and plan D.
Oh yeah, I think of course, if you could do that and get flipping in Isak, then yeah, do it 100%. I'm just saying I cannot see a world where Atletico Madrid, right? How do they save face? Like they get rid of their best player, right, this season, and they say, yeah, we're going to.
They're going to get a lot of money. They're going to get a lot of money. They bought Julian Alvarez last summer for 95 million. His release clause around 128 million.
So how much would Liverpool pay if they're giving Darwin? Because they'll value Darwin at 70.
Yeah, I think we're going to give Darwin and 50 as first offer. And then we'll try Darwin and 60.
But then that's not a lot of money for them. They'll look at 60 and be like, cool, we've got Darwin, but we need to get someone of the quality.
They've only
then you give them the replacement. Already give them the replacement.
They've only paid 64 million. They've only paid 64 million.
We're talking about in the same position. Like you give them you lose a striker, you get a striker and a lot of money.
Yeah, but you know when you look at it and you're like, I've got a striker, but you shit. I'm not really going to use it. So I'm going to need to get another striker.
Yeah, but now you're talking like us. Like I agree. I agree, Nunez is shit, but sporting directors don't agree.
They will do the same thing. They'll be like, we got him, which is cool. It's like, but we need to get another striker. We can't rely on Nunez. We can't rely on him.
Can I give you a prime example? Let's say me and you are doing a show right now with a Wolves fan.
Yeah.
Okay? Wolves fan. Would you reckon out of 6 people, there will be 2 at least who say Ait Nouri is shit defensively, he gets cooked every week, blah, 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 stuff like that, right? The sporting directors at big football clubs do not think how that Wolves fan is thinking. Sporting directors will go like, okay, he's the Algerian national team left back. He's playing for Wolves. He's got Premier League experience. I want to take a gamble. They might think like what we're thinking, which is why I'm only saying we will attempt it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm simply saying we will try to make it happen. We will attempt to make it happen. If it does not work, it does not work. Yani, عادي. But then plan C, the problem is after Isak and Alvarez were fucked. because it's gonna be Slovenian Nunez with a left foot.
No, it's
I think
Which is
Osimhen.
a problem.
I think
It's
I
Osimhen.
think
You're talking about technical ability. Yeah, watch Sesko, mate.
I
It's
think
Osimhen.
that-
He's got a good
I
goal.
don't-
Yeah, that's the last. That's the first and last thing I've seen of him. He scored
I
a nice kick from outside the box.
there's players I don't think Liverpool are looking at. I don't think they're looking at Osimhen because his wages are too high. I don't think they're looking at Isak at all. I think they're looking at
We're definitely looking at Isak. Definitely.
his wage is too high. We're looking at Julian Alvarez because he's cheap. We're looking at. I think Benjamin Sesko will be the player that comes to Liverpool.
Jamie.
I think Gyökeres apparently
In the stream now.
the Arsenal sporting director wants Gyökeres, so I think he will get him. There ain't
He
a lot
basically went
around.
from like just a horrible scenario to another horrible scenario.
See, I like Osimhen, but Osimhen's on 295 grand a week. We are not getting Osimhen.
It's
We're
their
not
choice.
getting
It's their
Osimhen.
choice.
We're not
Emeka,
getting
you're on mute, by the way.
Sorry, I was saying I think Osimhen's on 230 when I checked. Not 230.
Yeah,
Well, then he's going to have to go up in wages, ain't he? So it'd be
It's
like,
There's
260,
always
260.
fucking someone in the chat,
260,
guys.
we've agreed.
Are you guys like? Do you guys like punishment? Like, what is it? Like, do you like shit like this? Like, do you like getting whipped or something?
No,
I
Hussam,
like
is he that bad? But Hussam,
Yes,
is he that
yes,
bad?
yes. Every time I have watched fucking Bundesliga, he's so...
extremely.
Yeah, but
Okay,
we
can I
don't
give you an
need-
example?
Like,
Can I give you an
Hold up,
example?
we don't.
Let me say something. Omar Marmoush went in January for 60 million. He scored 15 goals in 17 games for fucking Frankfurt. Okay? Sesko plays for Leipzig. He's got 13 goals in 30 games.
He's crap.
13 and
Look,
30 in the
but-
fucking Bundesliga. With
I don't
that
wanna-
much space and power. Imagine.
All right, cool. I have it. But how about Tom's little pick? What's his name?
Do the Guesan thing. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even in
Tom's
Tom's
pick?
scenario, the
Pick?
striker we sign is Isak. So if it's Isak with Guesend, I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
Do you think it might be Delap? Do you think it might be Delap?
I hope it.
Nah, I
I
don't think so.
hope it's Delap because
I would take Delap over Sesko, but it's not Delap. Delap is gonna go United.
Hussam,
They're
you're always talking. At least on this stream, I've heard multiple times you say, "Look at how the club looks at. Look at how a club would look at things, not fans." Right. So let's just ignore names for a second. I don't think that this club is in the need for a Ferrari. Right. Like right now, our two strikers. One of them is a shitbox like 1972 Fiat that's completely broken down, and maybe you can get the engine to start here and there and it gets you to your objective, and the other one isn't even a car. It's like something that you parked in a neighborhood in Chicago and someone stole every last piece off of it, right? That's what we have for strikers. What is the club saying? All right, I have the most goals in the Premier League by like more than 15 with those two as my strikers. With those two shitboxes, I have scored the most goals by far. And objectively speaking, I probably could have scored more. What I think that the club is thinking is that, all right, maybe I don't need the Ferrari, but you know what? A BMW would be nice. And let's be objective here. A BMW is not a Ferrari. It's still a nice car. It gets the job done.
BMW?
A BMW here would be something like the Lap. Right, because he has a 20 million pound release clause. He has a much better conversion rate than the strikers we have, and he's physically fit. Right, and ultimately, if I get a BMW and I bring it in, but remember, if I get a BMW, there's no saying that I can't mod the shit out of that and have it beat a Ferrari. Right, and like the modding in this scenario would be he gets better at your club. So like, while I do love the idea of getting someone like Isak, right. I don't necessarily think it needs to be an end-all, be-all. It doesn't need to be like him. It doesn't even have to be Ekatike. It doesn't even have to be Sesko. Like, pragmatically, if we're going to view this like Edwards is viewing it, he's going to say, okay, I got one striker who doesn't play, and I have another striker with a 13% conversion rate. Pragmatically here, I need someone with a 20% conversion rate who will give me 30 games. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Mike, can I use your own logic of the cars? Here's the thing. Here's why Isak makes sense. Watch this. You wanna know the problem? The Honda Civic now is 90 million, and the Toyota is 100 million. I'm telling you, pay 20 million more, and you can have the Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly.
Deep what I just said. Think about the subjective. Think about the subjective. Think about it. Right now, as per reports, they want 90 million for Sesko and 100 million for Ekitike.
Yeah.
Objectively speaking, if I'm going to go down that route, and it's
Supply and demand.
Let me just say this: the Delap one, you're cooking because he's 30, so it's a lot less money. Fair, I accept that. But if it's Ekitike or Sesko and it's 90 million, 100 million, la Habib, I'm gonna go pay more money.
I don't even think that's like I don't think that Sesko's an option. I don't think Edwards is gonna look and be like
option, unfortunately.
Okay,
That
but
that sounds like a Klopp signing. I can't see them putting down 90.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like a Klopp signing.
We're not like I don't see this club taking another major risk. We're not going to make another risk on a project. We just did it and it just failed. Michael Edwards in charge.
For me, and all the numbers and all the media outlets, because we haven't been reported with a lot of strikers, by the way. It's Isak. The manager wants him. Like, it makes so much sense. He's probably the best player on form.
But he can easily say no.
Yeah, so it's him. We go for him. We don't get him. We get Alvarez. We've already spoken to Alvarez before. Like, we've already know the agents and we know that he was keen to come to us. So you go and kick those tires. If it's not him, we go for Osherman because we nearly signed Osherman in January on loan. So that's one that could definitely happen. And there's a Nigerian reporter who said that we're going to go back in for him again in June. Like, we tried 3 times.
That doesn't sound like an FSG signing.
Edwards loves him. Edwards has loved him for years. I think if it's not him, it's Brian and Buemo.
I think we've got to get used.
Brian and Buemo.
I think we've got to get used to the fact that it's going to be Hugo Ekitike, because Fabrizio has just tweeted Ekitike will leave Frankfurt in the summer. Plan is clear. Several top clubs have always made contact, and the Premier League top side has already approached Frankfurt.
Yeah, that's Manchester City.
No, they've already got. They ain't Man City. They've already got
Manchester City.
Manchester City aren't going to buy both
Manchester
2 strikers
City
from the same club
as well, mate. Trust me. Manchester City are after
Why would they have Ekitike?
They want to link him up with Mamouche.
So they go.
No, but they got Haaland and Mamouche on it.
Yeah, why would they buy? They're not buying a 3rd striker. That's not happening.
Jamie, walk with me. Chelsea Football Club. I fucking hope it's not us, bro. But I know deep down.
I think, look, at Liverpool. Let's do it this way. Yeah, we know where our owners are. Yeah, we know how we run to a football club. We have just signed Salah and Virgil to monster contracts that makes them, I think, 2nd and 3rd most expensive players in the country now, wages wise. We want to give another massive contract to Ibu Konate. Yeah, are we then go to lavish ourselves with a Julian Alvarez or Isak up front, or are we going to go for somebody that wages ain't going to be very small and development's going to be there in Ekitike?
Or Delap. Delap is 20. What's it going to be? 20 million, bro?
I don't mind Delap. I really don't.
This is screaming,
guys, we got to buy a right back, a left back, a centre back as well, and maybe a midfielder. I don't think we're going. If the only position we needed in the summer was a striker, they would sunk everything on Isak. Yeah, I agree with that totally. But because it's not the only position. I can see it being. Someone like Ekitike because wages are so small.
I hear you, but still the money is too much. That's why my logic with Isak still stands. If I pay 20 million more, I get Isak. So why should I pay 100 for a
Okay, but you don't, because you can pay 100 million less and get to Lap. And like personally, again, striker. Okay, but like, is it really a project? It's not a project in the sense of Darwin Nunez. It's not a project in the sense of Sesko. And ultimately, you just need health and conversion rate. Again, statistically speaking, we do not have a goal scoring problem. And why do you buy a striker if you have a goal scoring problem? That is not the issue that we have at this club. We have a possession problem and we have a creativity problem. That's it, right? Sometimes when we I mean, listen, if I'm going to name any problems, those would be the problems, not scoring goals, because we score a fuck ton of goals. My issue.
Every problem, then, do we?
Well, we don't score.
We can agree to disagree. We can go tit for tat. All I'm trying to say is that we don't need the Ferrari up front.
Advantage, though. Why? To make that argument. Because Mr. Statistician, that's why they call you Miculator in the chat. First of all, Tom, check your WhatsApp, you will. Second of all,
I can't believe you're calling him a wall.
he is a will.
I know. I
Here-
know. but I
here's
can't
the
believe
thing,
you're calling him one.
understand. You look at Liverpool Football Club and you say we've scored a lot of goals. But have we scored a lot of goals, or has Salah scored a lot of goals?
Salah has scored a lot of goals
It
for
was
sure.
flat. So did Man
Luis
City score-
Diaz,
hang on, hang on.
Luis Diaz was his highest GA.
Did Man City score a lot of goals, or did Haaland score all the goals?
Perfect. I'm so glad you asked that. That's why they went and signed Savinho, and that's why they went and signed Marmoush, and that's why they went and signed players.
How many goals has Savinho got?
No, I don't think he's got much goals, but they're trying because we might sign someone and he doesn't work.
How many goals has Salah, as Diaz and Gakpo got this season? 34.
No, we're not talking about Diaz and Gakpo. I'm talking
they've
about
got more than
they're part of the
They've got
attack,
more than
ain't they?
Salah
So
and
Yeah, you know, and they
You know
are
what
part
I'm
of the
saying,
attack. My thing
You're-
is, we have
you're-
one player that is responsible for a lot of the goals.
creativity's not an issue.
You're misunderstanding.
No,
what I'm-
creativity
what-
from a
what's
forward
on.
line isn't.
You just okay. So you took my example, right, and you said where'd those goals come from. I never said that I don't want a striker. All I'm saying is that I don't think I need to sign the Ferrari to fix my problem.
Mike, I accept your theory. I have no problem with the Delap theory.
And
I have a problem with the
personally,
Ekitike and Sesko theory. That's what I have a problem with.
That's fine, but from my perspective, I would rather sign the BMW up front and get another BMW in the midfield than just sign the Ferrari up front, and say, all right, midfield, go again. You know, let's just redo with the midfield. I would rather get two BMWs. That's all.
I also think I think that tie with PSG kind of woke him up to who he's going to be competing against going forward, and like it's a lot of Ferraris around Europe, right? PSG's front line, Barca's front line. I think, yeah, you can get a Delap and he'll be healthy and he'll be better than Nunez, but when we're going to be trying to do well in Europe next year, and we're going to need a front line that can compete with the front lines.
Who's to say Delap isn't the next Isak, though? The kid's like 21 years old.
Yeah, again, it's just a risk, right? I think we're in win now mode. We have 2 more years of Salah and Van Dijk. I think we're gonna go for top end quality. Delap
I get Michu vibes from Delap. I'm sorry.
No,
he's not. I need another year.
Oh my god! So Ekitike is only on 67 grand a week. Yeah, there's your new striker.
Yeah, wages wise, yes, but they want too much
Again,
money.
this is
They
all
want too
backup
much
because
money. 100 million is
I-
too much money.
But what I'm trying to say is, with the transfer fee, even though it's high, right? So Liverpool might look at it like this. This is what I keep saying. So Virgil Salah signed a massive contract. Kanate signed a massive contract. Isak and Ekitike, same transfer fee, yeah, right? But with that transfer fee, Isak's contract's going to be 200 grand a week. Same transfer fee with Ekitike, his wages, his contract's going to be, 80 grand a week. So I think that's why I think Liverpool. That's why I don't think the transfer fee matters.
But then I can give you a reverse example of Osimhen. Higher wages, but way cheaper transfer fee.
Yeah, but his wages over 4 years is 290 grand a week. It'd be too much. Over 4 years.
Also, keep in mind, Napoli want Chiesa.
Over 4 years, Ekitike's wages will be 1 year of Osimhen.
about to make a profit off Chiesa, though.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we're also going to be losing 150 grand a week off Nunez and 100.
Yeah, but we've just paid if we're paying Kanate 200 and we've paid 2 other people 400 grand a week, that's the most wages we've ever gave 3 people in one.
There's two other contracts that no one's talked about either.
I don't think we're going to sell that many people either. By the way, I don't think we're going to sell that many people either. I think it's people.
Yeah, I don't think we sell many people.
I think we sell 3 people at most.
17.
Nunez, we agree.
Nunez, Superchats, and
Kelleher.
Maybe Tyler Morton.
What about Kelleher?
Elliot's gone, James.
Oh, and Kelleher. So 4.
He wants to play.
Elliot. I think Elliot. I think Elliot's stay.
I think Elliot's going to go to Wolves.
I think Elliot's gone
because Tyler Morton's 100% profit, so he'll be sold.
Elliot
and I think if there's a chance of getting Walton from Palace, you might do something with Ben Doak.
Yes, because they like Ben Doak.
They bought a guy instead of Ben Doak. Eze. Not SE. I think his name is.
from
They bought him to replace Ben Doak.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. Anyway, let me just grab these super chats before we wrap up the stream. Big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Everyone, please hit the like button and please subscribe. Go subscribe to the Jerry James Show, Mike Das LFC, Kmack channel, Liverpool chats. Emeka doesn't have a channel yet. Soon come. Soon come. Kelleher, Doak, and Nunez first out the door. Who else? I do think Elliott will leave this summer. I think he's going to go to a Premier League club. I think Ben Doak is gone this summer. Tyler Morton's gone this summer.
Costas is gone.
With Diaz, it's not I want him sold. It's I think he will ask to leave. That's the difference, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's what I'll say.
And Quanta.
Big up to John and the Ghost, who says, by the way, Hussam, Pro Evo 2005 updated online gets smoked. Are you challenging me for a game of Pro Evo 2005?
That's the greatest game ever, man. Go for it.
That is. But then all I have to do is just play with Inter, Adriano, shoot from halfway line, go.
No shot power. No shot power.
Yeah, that's it. 99% shot power. You ain't going to stop any of them shots. I'll play you, John, if I'm allowed to use Inter Milan. And you can't use Inter Milan. Big up to Jack, says, we push teams back also too. Frimpong will work, in my opinion. I do agree with that. I do think people exaggerate how bad this whole Frimpong situation is. Like, it ain't as bad as people make out, but I hear you. Baleba is a must if Frimpong goes to LFC. We like Baleba, but if, bro, fucking £100 million. Like, come on, bro. Come on, 100 million. You think we're going to get paid for Baleba?
Is Baleba better on Walton? I don't think there's much in it.
That's the guy, by the way. 60 million, according to reports. Wharton. Watch out for that. And think of who we wanted last summer, Zubimendi. Wharton, English Zubimendi. Great on the ball, great passer.
Wharton's amazing. We've done all the scouting on him as well, by the way. We scouted him for years. That's Tom Little. He knows.
Yeah, Tom Little knows.
Tom Little is a part of the Liverpool scouting team.
Yeah, he's part of
I watched his little stream, and I was like analyzing all the different things on what's that stat website that does like the different percentage ranks for each individual fucking thing, and I'm like, what does half of this shit even mean?
Tom is a waffler. I can't.
This is how he breaks into section 45. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing here?
If the owner don't want to sell you can't get a bike. I'll take Sesko. Oh my god! If we provide service, if not, we fucked Ekitike. So Ekitike screams flop, 15 goals and 30, but Sesko does not scream flop, 13 goals and 30. Alex, are you a Nunez fan? Be honest, because all the Nunez fans will simply transfer to being Sesko fans because he's pace and power as well. He misses a lot of chances.
It'll just be like an update, innit? It'll just be like an update. This time he's left footed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This time he's Slovenian. That's it. Like, hey, Darwin Nunez 2.0, Darwin Nunez light. Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, regardless. Big up to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the stream. All these guys' channels in the description. Big up all the super chatters. Big up everyone who's shown us love. Kmack, why do you drop just like bad statements like as we're about to wrap up?
It's only because Ram in there. Ram put an Angola still up for me. So.
Scraps, where are you when we need you, Scraps? Where are you when we need you?
We're all right now, I think.
This is why like we get way too caught up in names. Like, bro, we're gonna buy somebody that somebody's not gonna want or somebody wants, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
And Michael Edwards, we trust.
We're the only team that says all our players are shit, but they win everything. It's mad, isn't it?
I know.
I think I'm pretty sure every team thinks all of their players are shit.
No, it's just us. I'm telling you that. It's just us. Everyone's shit, but we win everything. It's mad.
Not getting into Kmack, giving him a day off. Fairs, I respect that. One day off, and then tomorrow he'll go back. Yeah, he's gonna go back to just being a fraud. Anyway, guys, see you guys. This stream is gonna take over to Staffy TV. He's doing NBA watch along. Go tell him Hussam raid, and yeah, peace out.
There you go.